not for you. You will learn some strategies to read even better when you get started reading. So I'm passing out these papers, these packets. Everyone gets one packet. So like I said, we're doing main idea. I'll let all these get passed around while they're doing that. Who wants to tell me what the main idea is when we're reading?
What the article is basically about.
What the article is basically about. I agree. What else?
Like the big part of that story.
The big part of the main idea. Okay.
Taking all the elements of the introduction.
Yeah. All of those are great summaries of what the main idea are. So we use main idea when we write as well, not just when we're reading and we notice things. We use main idea when we write because we use that main idea to build off of with a beginning, middle, and end. So we need to remember that what we do for writing, which is beginning, middle, and end, and usually we have a title for our piece, right? And when we use these pieces, we can use them to determine the main idea in reading as well. So in college, I have to do this all the time. I have to find the main ideas of articles, books, informational text. It doesn't matter. Teachers are always asking us to summarize what an article was about or a book was about, and they want to know the main idea and how it applies to our life or what we're doing. So that's what we're going to do today. First of all, I want you guys to, I think that any job uses the idea of main idea. What I mean by that is every job you get something to do, and you have something that you have to do with all that information or that evidence, and you have to find the main idea and apply that to what you're doing. So, who thinks they could give me a brain buster of a job that doesn't use evidence or main idea? Nobody? Alright. If you guys can't think of any, I couldn't either. I was thinking of, in college I do it. Even if you're working at McDonald's, you're still using the evidence from like sales, and you're trying to get a main idea of how well sales are going, what is selling good, what isn't selling good, and how you can change that. So today we're going to work on main idea in our reading. Now it may seem difficult to sum up or find the main idea of a big text or even a little text because there isn't much information in that text, but there's always a main idea when somebody's writing, and when you know the process, beginning, middle, and end, you can apply that to reading. So, first of all, you all have an article. You guys could detach your packets or just look at the article. But first we're going to try and determine the main idea. We're going to start to begin to figure out what the main idea of this article is with a strategy that I use for my articles in college all the time. So the first thing I do, and the first thing that's on your first piece of paper is title. So, to find main idea in the title, this is what I do. The title is the topic of what this informational piece is going to be about. So we're trying to figure out what for the title this story or article is going to be about. Does anybody know what this article is going to be about? This one's kind of easy because there's only 2 words for the title. What do you think this article is going to be about? Traveling west. So I'm going to have all of you guys get out your highlighters right now. I use highlighters for determining the main idea in my reading all the time. Because when I highlight, I try and highlight the most important information. Maybe not in every paragraph, but I try and highlight enough information where I can skim over that article, look at where I highlighted, and be like, oh yeah, that's what that paragraph talks about. Oh yeah, that's what that paragraph talks about. Oh yeah, and that's what that whole article is about. So once you get out of a highlighter, I want you to highlight either 1 word or 2 words in the title that will describe the main idea of this article. Now, I know this one only has 2 words for the title. It's not a good example, but I'm going to be giving you guys other articles later that have a little bit longer titles, and when you would be finding the main idea or the topic, you would only need to highlight about 1 or 2 words in that title. Because you just want to know, oh yeah, this is what the article's about, so you can reference it when you read it. Alright, so once you highlight those 2 words, or 1 word, give me a thumbs up or look at me. Alrighty. So next, we are going, when I'm trying to find the main idea, I go to the last paragraph. Alright, I know this is weird. When I was in 6th grade, I never thought to go, oh, I'll just go to the end and see what the whole article is talking about. But it's not cheating. That's what I thought at first, but it's not. When somebody asks you to find the main idea or a purpose or something in an article, that's what you're trying to do. You go about whatever way you can to find the main idea. So what I do, usually when we write, we have the beginning, middle, and end. In the end, it usually wraps up everything that we were talking about in the whole article. So I go to the last paragraph to see, alright, what kind of key concepts or what kind of key things are they talking about in this last paragraph, so I can focus on it when I'm reading the bulk of the article. Does that make sense? Alright, so I want everyone to read this last paragraph, and when you're reading, I want you to find a sentence that you think summarizes the topic that we found in the title. A sentence. I say a sentence because when I started highlighting, nobody ever told me, don't highlight the whole page. I'd get done and be like, alright, everything was important. It might not be as important as some of the main points. So I want you to find a sentence that summarizes the title's topic.
Do you have a piece of purple construction paper? Can you take a picture?
Video.
Not of you.
I'll get it.
Okay, once everyone's found a sentence that they've highlighted, I want you to look up at me. Okay, while everyone's finishing up, I want somebody to give me an example of what they chose, what sentence they chose. I want them to read it to me. And then I want you to explain to the class why you chose that. Sam.
I chose the railroad brought many changes and the pioneers became legends as the country developed into the nation of today.
So why'd you choose that? How does it
Because
relate to the topic?
it says like the railroad, like I read it, the paragraph, and it says railroad a lot, so that and it how it brought many changes and how the pioneers became legends as the country developed into the nation of today.
I agree. I think that sentence seems like it might summarize the whole article. Did anyone else have a different sentence? Once again, if you don't have the same sentence as Sam or somebody else, it's okay. Another thing that I noticed when I was learning in 6th grade, 5th grade, people would give me these articles and they would expect me to find exactly what they thought was the main point. But when you're reading, you think that the main point, you think the things that are important to you, and everyone has differences. So if you have something different, that doesn't mean it's right or wrong. Let's hear what Gage had.
I said, in the next country, people built a railroad that crossed the United States.
Alright, so why did you choose that?
I chose that because it said traveling west, and I thought a railroad that crossed the United States, that must be nice. That they were like traveling and it must have went west.
That makes sense. So he found keywords, traveling west. That was the title of this. He found that in the summary, and he noticed that kind of summarizes what the topic might be about. So, with that in mind, we're now going to go on to, well, let me refresh. All right, so we found a summarized sentence in that to think, so we kind of know what the main idea of the whole article will be. So now, we're going to go all the way back up to the top paragraph, and this is what we're going to do. In the first paragraph, you guys do it in your writing, your beginning. You always start your first paragraph of what your article or what your information or text is going to be about. So, the author in this text did the same thing, and most people do. They'll start their story, their text with a statement that kind of tells what everything that follows is going to be about. So, I want everyone to read the first paragraph, and in the first paragraph I want you to highlight, let me see, I want you to highlight one sentence again that is the author's statement about what this whole article is going to be about. And when we're thinking about that, we need to remember that we already got the topic from the title, and we already kind of got the summarization of the article from the last or end paragraph. So keep that in mind when you're trying to find the author's statement about what this article will be about. Once again, when you're done, look at
Good afternoon, teachers and students. We will be doing inside recess because of the outside weather. Inside recess schedule. Thank you.
While everyone else is finishing up, is there anybody that would like to share what they chose for the author's statement?
I chose the Thomas sentence, which is long ago when people settled in the United States, was the East and travel.
So why did you choose that? Why do you think that's the author's statement about this piece?
Because it's kind of saying that it was hard for them to go to the West and that they already lived in the East. It kind of tells me that they're going to start talking about like they're going to try to get to the West in an easier way.
I agree. I think that's a great topic sentence or the author's statement, and we definitely can tell what the author's going to be trying to talk about from there. And you use that sentence, and once again, traveling west is right in that sentence. So we could look back at the title and oh yeah, that's what the topic of this essay is going to be about. All right, Sam, one more.
I said, although it was difficult in the 1840s, many people traveled far across the United States from the east to the west. I chose that because I think it's going to talk about how they traveled, and that's kind of what the title is.
Once again, she worked back from the title, the first thing we did. She's like, oh yeah, this is what we're talking about. And then from the summary, she knew that we were talking about railroads and that kind of stuff. So she knew that traveling would be a part of the author's main statement. All right. So now that we have that, we have the title, which we got the topic. We looked at the last paragraph, which we got the summary. Then we looked at the first paragraph, which gave us the author's statement. Now we're going to read the bulk of the article. Now this is where I used to get highlighter happy when I was a kid. Like, oh yeah, this is about traveling west. This is about traveling west. When we're highlighting, we're only going to need 3, maybe 4 different details about traveling west, about the author's topic in any essay. You don't need to go highlighter crazy because that's only going to confuse you. Like I said, when I highlight the important things, so when I get done, I could just skim through it and be like, oh yeah, that's what that paragraph was talking about, that's what that paragraph was talking about, and that's what the essay was about. So, is there anybody that's kind of confused on how we'll find detail and highlight it in the bulk of our article?
I'm kind of confused, like, are you supposed to find, like supporting ideas about this?
Yep, we're looking for supporting ideas on the topic of traveling west. So, we're always looking for supporting ideas of the title. Okay? Does that make sense? And we know kind of what the author's going to talk about from the beginning and end. So when you find those kind of information in the text, that's what I want you to highlight. Because that's what the main idea is about, and those are the supporting details that tell about that main idea. Does that make sense? Are there any other questions? Alright, I want you guys to read the middle of the article. You guys can start from the top if you need to. I want you to find 3 or 4 sentences that support the main idea. I want you to look up at me when you're done as well. Okay, once you're done, I want you to put your highlighter on your packet, please. Try to find it.
Yes.
Alrighty. Everyone pretty much done? Give me a thumbs up if you're good to go. Alrighty. So, now we have highlighted all the important information for us to help find the main idea. So I've created a little equation for you guys over here. With the three things that we just did, we started with the end, we went to the beginning, and we used the topic from the title. All these put together, all the things you have highlighted on your paper, is what the main idea is. So now, I want you to take these things that you've highlighted, the things that you've noticed from the topic and the summary, I want you to write 1 to 2 sentences that explains the main idea. You boys got that? You boys got that? Alright. Yeah, I want you guys to do it right below where you guys, right below the article. And all I need is 1 or 2 sentences that uses all the things you highlighted from there to get the main idea. So in this sentence, we should talk about traveling west probably somehow, and supporting details of why that was important in the article. I want you to use those things, all the things you highlighted to make the main ideas. Okay, and when you're done with that, once you have 1 or 2 sentences done, I want you to come up here. There's 4 different articles, and I want you guys all to use the same strategy with the title, the end, the beginning, and the middle to find the main idea in these articles. You only need to pick one. You only need to pick one. And once you have everything, you can bring that up to me. Here, keep this. All I want is your article with the main idea statement on it. I want you to keep that other stuff, put it in your reading folder, maybe use it if you ever need help, all right? Yeah, there's different articles. One's about the president's speech, One's about plants and food, one's about the seasons in the prairie, and one's about a magical place called Zambia. So remember, use the same strategies I just told you about to find out the main idea. Okay, don't push. Keep the front page. Yeah, that's how I used to be. I was a highlighter pretty guy. The whole paper used to be highlighted. Then I got to college and I was like, wait, this isn't all that important. No, I didn't. Is that the old one gone? Sorry, I didn't make that up. Keep that one for today. Remember, don't go highlighter crazy. Zambia's gone, sorry. My top is down. Says they were the band who speaking I've got a full group, so you're not talking about one specific person who's speaking.